During Theodore Roosevelt's 1909 safari across East Africa, he set around countless campfires with notable safari legends like R.J. Cunningham, Frederick Courtney Salute, and Philip Percival, just to name a few. And as we know from his classic book, African Game Trails, many of those fireside discussions centered around the topic of what is the most dangerous game animal in Africa. Man, I would have loved to have been a tsetse fly on the wall of those conversations. And in the end, just like today, there was no consensus reached, as the different hunters had different opinions on the most dangerous game, usually based on their personal experience. But just for fun, let's take a modern day whack at the question and reopen what I will call the most deadly debate. For a show titled The Most Deadly Debate, let's look at the obvious question of what qualifies as deadly. Here's my definition. Any animal that has a combination of size, speed, strength, and temperament to attack a human while being aided by tusk, teeth, horn, or claw to do the damage or possibly killing should, for obvious reasons, be considered dangerous. And no other continent is better populated with truly dangerous game than Africa. Look, a wounded bushbuck that just pushed 14 inches of horn into your thigh and severed your femoral artery will end your life as surely as an elephant tusk through your chest. But for this discussion, let's concentrate on Africa's traditional killers of careless or unlucky hunters. The Big Five is an iconic grouping of Africa's most feared dangerous game species, and they each have a long and distinguished history of proven man-killing. Here are Africa's bad actors that make up her Big Five. Elephant, Cape buffalo, rhino, lion, and leopard. And since the African Professional Hunters Association deemed them eligible a few years back, let's add two additional species, hippo and Nile crocodile, to our discussion. In modern safari circles, this grouping is commonly known as the Deadly Seven. But my list is going to concentrate on the game that, under traditional hunting situations, are considered dangerous. So I'm going to trim our list by 3 animals right here, and I'll tell you why. In the golden age of safari, the black rhino was certainly considered dangerous. His tendency to come bursting from heavy thorn cover from close range made him more of an unexpected menace than a traditionally dangerous beast. But kill you, he damn sure could. But the short-sighted and bad-tempered black rhino is a hunt of the past, and his larger cousin, the white rhino, is an even-tempered giant. Today you have a better chance of a rhino killing you by falling off a trophy room wall and landing on your head, so we say goodbye to old Pharaoh right here. A Nile crocodile will not only kill you, but he will eat you. But, like a person who's afraid of being eaten by a great white shark, there is a common sense cure for your phobia, and it works equally well on even the most hungry of crocodiles. Stay out of the water. So we also eliminate croc as a traditional hunting menace. And last to get the cut is hippo. He can, if you're in the water, be a murderous beast. And if blundered into on land, especially if you're between him and his aquatic security blanket, he will steamroll you with deadly intent. But 98% of all hippo today are shot while he is in the water and the hunter is on dry land. Therefore, the old river horse failed to make my traditional dangerous game list. When we come back, I'll add some hunting circumstances to consider as we rate the danger factor of each. As we begin the debate in earnest as to the most dangerous of our animals still on the list, elephant, Cape buffalo, lion, and leopard, let's put this qualifier into place for this discussion. You're hunting and following up an animal that has been wounded. Yep, that changes things a bit. For example, I have undoubtedly walked past many leopards in heavy cover that just hunker down and let me pass, completely unaware of their presence. Unless the cat is a verified man-eater, that would be his exact normal reaction. But do that with a leopard carrying the results of your poor shooting in his guts, and you had better be damn fast and accurate to keep the spotted fury off your face, because a charge under these circumstances is the rule, not the exception. The vast majority of charges happen after mistakes have been made, and generally that means shooting mistakes. Sure, you could bump into mating lions or a herd of cow elephants in heavy cover and get into trouble, but game wounded by the hunter is the #1 cause of dangerous complications on safari. And of course, you and I are not going to be dealing with the dangerous game on our own. Thank God. Your mobile life insurance policy is the man at your side, carrying both a large caliber rifle and a lifetime of experience. Of course, I'm talking about your professional hunter. The implied danger of the follow-up is most likely not going to put you at risk as much as it will the PH and his team of trackers. Your man may let you take the lead following up a wounded kudu, but the normal dangerous game follow-up order is the trackers, the PH, and then at the end of the line, the client. If the cover's more open, you may advance with your man side by side. But if your animal is not already in thick cover, believe me, he's trying to get there. Whether or not you even take part in a dangerous game follow-up is completely up to your professional hunter, and rightly so. In really heavy cover, it is often the inch at a time, on your hands and knees stuff of nightmares. In such circumstances, a veteran PH will describe the situation to his client, lay out his battle plan, and, if necessary, explain why he needs you to let him go in alone. This is a tricky discussion for many reasons. There are many times that a professional hunter will radio for backup from another pro. I've seen this happen many times. But I've also seen times where, even with experienced help at hand, there was only room for one tracker and one PH in the cover the wounded animal has escaped to. Ego can raise its ugly head here, especially if the client feels his courage is in doubt. Many a serious headbutting between professional hunter and client has happened at this point. You may be able to ill-advisedly bully a younger PH into letting you go in, but you may also encounter a veteran hunter who knows what's waiting for him up ahead and is in no mood to argue with you and cares even less if his decision may hurt your feelings or bruise your ego. Our dear friend, the late Ian Gibbo Gibson, comes instantly to mind. Take my word that Gibbo did not feel that anyone's ego was either worth his life or that of his trackers. And in such a mood, I would have rather have gone after the man-eaters of Savo alone than deal with Gibbo when enough had truly become enough. If your man invites you to go in, go in. If he doesn't, don't be offended. Enough said on that. Remember, the #1 goal of every dangerous game follow-up is to track the animal, find it, and finish it before it has the chance to launch an attack. Forget the nonsense of wanting to face a charge.
Well done. Good shooting. Good shooting.
Follow your professional hunter's advice. Do what he says to the letter, and be ready at every step to face whatever you find at the end of the sport. Okay, we have narrowed down the field to 4 contenders for the title of Africa's Most Deadly. Let's take a look at them from a physical dimension standpoint and weaponry available if they get a hold of you. Let's go in order of the largest to the smallest. A mature elephant bull in Botswana will weigh up to 13,000 pounds and stand to a height of up to 13 foot at the shoulder. Bulls from other countries are not as large in body, but even the smallest mature bull elephant in all of Africa is still bigger than his closest competition by several tons. And if it all goes wrong with the bull elephant and he can close on the hunter, his options of killing you are many. A tusk through the body will do it, and they can jab with the skill of an expert swordsman. Or he may simply smash you off your feet with his trunk, rub you into the ground with his enormous forehead, then kneel on your body with his knees. I have lost friends like Gibbo to this animal, and those terrible final moments they surely felt haunt me today. The Cape buffalo is, by any estimation, a formidable and aggressive opponent. He has been killing hunters since the first tribesman threw a spear just a bit off center, and he still does it with aggression and perfection today. A big bull buffalo will weigh between 16 and 1,800 pounds and stand around 5 feet tall at the shoulder. His weapons consist of horns, weight, and momentum. If he gets lucky, his freight train of forward momentum will hit you like a battle tank, knocking you to the ground, if not into the grave. Now he'll decide if he wants to hook your body with the tip of his curved horns or just pulverize you into the hard ground with his battering ram bosses that meet in the middle of his skull.
Our dear friend, veteran Chafuti P.H. Owen Lewis, was killed by an enraged buffalo bull that, before he expired literally on top of Owen, had 8 large caliber bullets in him.
Lion are a unique combination of size, aggression, skill, and weaponry. A big male will push the scale to between 400 to 450 pounds. Stretched out on the ground, figure about 9 foot, nose to tail. Unlike elephant and buffalo, which sometimes kill in the heat of rage, the lion was designed to kill for his survival, and he is well equipped to do the job. His speed when wounded is a terrible thing to witness, and he will generally come from short distance and from heavy cover. If he gets on top of you, he'll use his grappling hook claws to hold you firmly until which time he can get either your head or your throat into his mouth. At that point, you're dead with the first big bite.
Finally, we have the smallest member of our dangerous foursome, the leopard.
A male will weigh from between 130 pounds for an average cat up to and sometimes over 160 pounds for a real beast. The fastest of the 4 in the charge, he will use his blinding speed and thick cover to get his attack home. And once he's on top of you, it's all 4 feet and long fangs going at your flesh at the same time. An attack by leopard is similar to a 15-second session where you're thrown into a clothes dryer with an activated chainsaw.
As stated at the start of the show, hunters like you and I have been having friendly debate on this subject for well over 100 years. And just like those conversations at countless campfires of so long ago, we may have to agree to disagree on the order or even the list of dangerous game that sparked this eternal debate. But the debate itself is the most fun. And at the end, I promise to give everyone a participation trophy as you make your own list. So here we go. This is, from first to last, Bwana Dave's rating of Africa's most deadly game.
Number 4, the leopard. His size as the smallest member of Africa's dangerous stuff is why I put him at the bottom of my list. Is he dangerous? Good Lord, yes. But generally speaking, not deadly. Of all the animals on our list, he is the one animal most likely to get his hooks into you during a follow-up. But his tendency is to hit and run, often mauling more than one member of the hunting party before disappearing back into the bush.
African lore is full of these kind of attacks, and they are always a possibility on a leopard hunt. The great spotted cat of Africa is, from a hunting standpoint, my favorite big game animal on the dark continent. But the chances of him actually killing me are less than any of the other contenders for the title, and that lands him at number 4 on my list.
Number 3, elephant. There is no doubt in my career with both rifle and especially while filming, I've had more truly scary and at sometimes terrifying moments than with elephant, both bulls and cows, than any other species on my list. A wounded elephant of either sex is a nightmare as it bulldozes towards you through heavy bush. And when wounded, it will not be a mock charge so common to unwounded members of his tribe. He is coming to kill you. But his great bulk can also make his attack easier to handle, as you will damn sure know he's coming as bush explodes and his menacing assortment of growls and screams announce his intention. The only way to kill an elephant before they kill you at this point is the frontal brain shot, and it is one of the most difficult, as the brain position from the front is ever changing as the elephant's head shifts positions.
Based on the fact that you will know a charge is coming and you and your PH will be carrying appropriate caliber rifles, I will grudgingly place Old Jumbo at number 3 on the deadly scale. So the final 2 contenders can now meet in the center of the ring, Lion and Cape Buffalo. They are each other's eternal enemies, and both have long and distinguished career as man killers. And in truth, I have, for years, waffled on which has earned the top position on my personal list.
It's important to say here and now that my list is partly based on my personal experience, but a great deal of my opinions are based on the input of my friends in the professional hunting game. Men that have walked through the fire with these creatures on a daily basis as they pursue their chosen careers.
Here we go. Drum roll, please. The runner-up on Dave's most deadly list is the big mud-covered bovine of Africa, the Cape Buffalo.
And he's number 2 on my list by the thinnest of margins. More hunters have had problems with buffalo over recorded time, especially over the last 50 years, I'd say, because more people are hunting buffalo than the rest of the big stuff on our list. It just comes down to math. The more buffalo shot at across Africa, the more buffalo that are wounded. And a wounded buffalo presents a very clear and present danger, as they might say in military terms. Yet he is not an indestructible, fire-breathing monster if shot properly in a fatal area. A shoulder shot with a good bullet will take his oxygen away, and he will run in the direction he's pointed until his brain shuts his legs off.
But hit him wrong, and brother, you have created one of hunting's most formidable and gut-churning situations, the follow-up of a buffalo bull into heavy cover. This game I have played plenty with a rifle and a ton more with a video camera on my shoulder. And I have been in some charges that have ended literally with blood on my shoes.
I have spent more time on buffalo hunts in my career than all of the other contenders on our list. And I know that every time we take the track, that he is a beast that can kill one of our party if we make mistakes. When a wounded buffalo charges, there's not a damn thing mock about it. He will snort, blow blood from his nose, and just come. His intent will be to kill the person in his sights, and your big slugs to the chest will not turn him or change his mind. Many top professionals consider him, hands down, the most dangerous creature on the planet when wounded, and you will not find me telling them that they are wrong. At this point, a shot to the brain, or if you can wait till he drops his head to hook you, a shot above the head and into the spine will kill him in his tracks. But if you miss these 2 targets, you will be in for it.
But even so, I place this great sporting beast as the runner-up to the animal that I consider, when it all goes to hell, the most dangerous wounded animal in Africa, old Simba, the lion.
A wounded lion will come at you with savage grunts, and no charging animal comes with more singular focus. He will pick the first person he can catch, then spend his life trying to end yours. His claws serve only to hold you. His massive canines he will use to kill you.
He will come low, and if you die, it's probably because you aimed too high and missed his brain. Maybe I personally fear him the most because he's so damn fast, his charge so savage, and his weaponry so perfect. But fear the lion, I do. And that, maybe more than all else, is why I put this iconic killer at the very top of my list. Your list is probably different than mine, but I hope you've enjoyed our debate as much as I have. One thing is for sure, this is a debate that will go on as long as we're able to hunt these great beasts.